Hi guys, it's Luke here of SimBoxx in association with Clint Patrick. Today I'm delighted to be joined by manager, trainer, promoter extraordinaire, Carl Greaves. Carl, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Luke. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. So let's get straight into it. Congratulations are in order. Feb 20th, it went down exactly how you and Neil Marsh said it would. David Avanesyan stopped Josh Pretty Boy Kelly. You must be very proud of yourself, very proud of David, and proud of the team's efforts.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. Like you say, it went exactly to plan. Couldn't predicted it any better, really. Just a little bit sooner than we expected. I thought it'd be probably around 7 to 9 rounds, but he got him out of there earlier than we thought. So, yeah, absolutely delighted. I thought David was fantastic. Executed the game plan perfectly, and got the job done.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So we'll try and do this in some sort of chronological order because there's a few things I want to get through. But let's go back to fight week. Tell us your memories of fight week. There seemed to be a lot of tension there. There was rumours of handbags and arguments and fisticuffs. How was the whole experience for yourself?
Fantastic experience. Couldn't thank Matchroom enough. Looked after us all. It was a great bubble. We had a fantastic week. David was in great spirits. We had a few ups and downs. I don't really want to go into them. Yeah, a few fun and games in the build-up. But yeah, all in all, I mean, after it all died down after the first couple of days, both teams got on. Obviously, there's been a lot of animosity there over the last couple of years. We've obviously when Josh pulled out the first time, but we finally put it to bed. We got the win, and we can move on now.
That's it. But looking back the night before the weigh-in, you put that picture up of David Avanesyan enjoying what you said was his fourth meal of the day. The day before a weigh-in, you know, it's kind of unheard of. Was that mind games? Was that genuine? What was your thought process putting that picture out there? Because you know it was going to get attention.
Yeah, well, obviously we put it out there because we knew it was going to get attention, and we knew that Josh was very tight at the weight. So obviously, if it got back to him, he'd be thinking, "What's going off here? I'm really struggling to make the weight." And David's there on his fourth meal of the day, but they weren't big meals, just keeping the metabolism going, stopping from being too hungry. A bit of salad, a bit of fish, a bit of meat. So yeah, it was good. I mean. Everybody knows that David's not a massive welterweight. He's a lot bigger now than he used to be. There was talks of moving him down to 140, but I think we've judged it right now. We've got him at the perfect weight. He's very, very strong on the day. He's getting in the ring a stone heavier now than after the day before. So a lot better than the days when he was getting in the ring like 5 or 6 pounds heavier than the day before. So yeah, we've got it perfect now. He's a proper welterweight. And yeah, like you say, got the job done, and we can move on.
On the day of the weigh-in, when you know, as they faced off after they both weighed in, and we knew Josh was naturally a bigger man going in, but was you taken aback at all by just how bigger he looked than David? I know you said he rehydrated well on the night, but was you ever at all worried, even slightly, when you seen them face to face and actually face off, given that Josh Kelly looked so much bigger?
You know what? I was really impressed how Josh looked. I didn't expect him to look as good as that. He kept his muscle mass, because usually when you drop in water, you start eating into your muscles when you're struggling. But he seemed to hold it well. He looked really, really good. And yeah, I was surprised, to be honest. I was took aback by it, but I knew he'd struggled to make welterweight, so that's where I got a lot of confidence from. So I knew he struggled. I mean, no matter how well he looked and how much confidence he was giving on the scales, I still knew it was tight for him. And David made it perfect. Didn't have to get too much off on the morning of the weigh-in, and I was really pleased. But yeah, he did look very good. Full credit to him and his team. But yeah, fair play.
So as we moved into the fight, and we'll discuss that a little bit, you know, kind of round by round or point by point, and get your thoughts as it was going along. The first real point of contention, because we knew Josh Kelly was going to start fast, and we knew that you wanted to get David Avanesyan to drag Josh Kelly into the second half of the fight. But in that second round, there seemed to be a moment where Kelly landed that left hook. I don't know whether David was off balance. I don't know whether he was genuinely tagged by it. You know, maybe you can enlighten us there. But that was the real first point of contention, and where Josh Kelly maybe had his most success in the fight was landing that left hook and knocking David onto his back heels.
Yeah, I mean, the fight when it, like the early rounds, when it just exactly how I thought it would. I knew Josh would win the early rounds, but it was just a matter of making Josh work harder than he wanted to win them rounds. And obviously, when he caught David with that left hook, he looked a cracking shot. When he watched the replay, it looked like it hurt David. But speaking to David after, he said he was more off balance, got caught with a good shot off balance, so he looked a lot worse than what it was. But if you look closely at the follow-up, when Josh went in to finish him, he walked onto an hell of a right hand from David, which stood him in his tracks, and he had to back off a little bit from there. And that's when David pushed on, and then Josh started grabbing him to hold him. So I knew he'd recovered well, and the momentum was back with us, because if you look at that round, we started pushing Josh back again in that round and hurting him, even though Josh won the round.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we moved into that fifth and sixth round, and as you say, you felt it was going to go to maybe round 7, 8, or 9, but Josh seemed to really tire quickly in that fifth round before going into the sixth. Was you surprised by that it was so visible that he was almost gassing? The tank was depleting rapidly. Normally, though, these things kind of happen over a couple of rounds, but this kind of happened so quickly in a couple of minutes. Was you taken aback by that at all?
Yeah, well, like I say, we made Josh work harder than he wanted to win them rounds. So obviously, when I studied the fight, I knew that Josh liked to work in bursts, and then obviously go away and have his breather once he couldn't get him out of there. And obviously, why he was trying to get his breather, David wasn't letting him. He was making him work all the time. So yeah, I mean, when he tired quick, it was because David had to get him there and make him tire. So it was quite effective what David did, and he started pushing them body shots through the middle as well. But when Josh started trying to fight with David, that's where he come unstuck, because I know he couldn't beat him at his own game from distance. So he tried to push David back and have a fight with him. But when he started doing that, that's when it was the start of the end, if you know what I mean, because obviously David started getting to him and hurting him with them little short hooks and uppercuts and body shots. So, yeah, but yeah, he tired fast, but a lot of that was down to the work David was doing.
Yeah, just to follow on from that there, you can say the work that David was doing. It's so easy to say what David should do to win, as a fan or as a pundit, and say, get up on his chest and make him work when he doesn't want to work. But it's a testament to the game plan from yourself and from the work rate and the determination of Avanesyan to put that game plan into reality. It's such dedication. It's not any, it's much easier to say than it is to do. I think that's the point that I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously telling people to do it and actually doing it yourself is a completely different thing when you're in that ring and someone's punching you back. But yeah, he really set about him. I think David had that bit between his teeth. He was determined to win this fight. He knew he had to win this fight to move on and try and get another world title shot. So it was so determined, he would not be denied. It was like a predator, it was like a man possessed. And I've never met a fighter so relaxed and confident all the way through. I mean, on the day of the fight, he was just chilled out, relaxed, and it looked like he knew he had it in the bag. He just looked like he knew he had it in the bag. It was crazy. Even like there was a concern early doors when Josh was winning the fight, and obviously people were saying to me, "Wasn't you concerned then?" And I wasn't really, because I knew that David was going to execute the game plan. We'd studied Josh so much, more than any other fighter I've ever watched, and I just knew that if David could do what I asked him to, there was no way Josh was going to be able to keep David off.
So take us through your feelings at the exact moment you seen that towel come in and the ref waved the fight off. Pure elation, pure joy etched across the face of yourself and the team. Just take us through, in your words, how good of a moment that was.
Unbelievable. I mean, I would have been sick as a pig if we'd have got beat. I'm not going to lie, because there was so much tension and media attention and everything around that fight. I mean, in the bubble, I've never done so much media work in my life. Every day there was something going on, and I was saying the same things all the time. And if we didn't get the result, I'd have had egg on my face, to be honest. I mean, I know you've got to have a winner and a loser, but I was so confident and speaking so well that obviously it was like a formality, really. Just David needed to just do the job, and obviously he did that. But yeah, I mean, when we got the win, I mean, obviously myself, Neil Marsh, Alan Levine, and Eric Timor, the whole team, it was just unbelievable. You could see what it meant to David when he jumped into my arms and that. We was just so relieved. Just more to get the fight over with him as well, because it's been going on and on and on for over 2.5 years. And we finally put it to bed. We got the win, and David can move on now and try and get another world title shot.
That's it. Well, that answered my next question about, finally closing that chapter. But let's look forward as the fight came to a close. There was some really great pictures on Sky Sports of in the changing rooms with yourself, Neil Marsh, and Conor Benn came in and he congratulated David Avanesyan. That was quite a nice moment, and you guys got some pictures together. Quite a nice moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lovely lad, Conor Benn. Got a lot of respect for him. Like I said before, he is the most improved boxer I've known for a long time, or seen for a while. I mean, fantastic improvement since his early days. And he's got a lot of respect for David. I mean, he knew the outcome of that fight as well. He predicted the outcome. I think he said round 7. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of respect between the two. I know, like, people said, are they going to fight each other? Maybe down the line, you never know. But at this moment in time, they're on different paths. David's pushing on for a world title fight. Conor's tried to get to David's level. So it'd be a backward step for David. But it'd be an hell of a fight as long as it lasted. It'd be like an Hagler-Ernst type fight, in my opinion, because they're both going to go at it, both wear their heart on the sleeve, and they can have a fight. You know what I mean? So yeah, but there's been talk about it down the line. I mean, maybe if David loses his next fight and Conor keeps winning, then it's a crossroads fight, isn't it? So it could happen, but not at this moment in time.
So let's talk about a couple of other names that have been mentioned. There's the high-profile name in Amir Khan was pushed there or thereabouts, and more recently, Daniil Yulusinov, the undefeated former Olympian. Where are we at in terms of opponents? Have you had that kind of conversation with David yet? Have you sat down as a team and discussed that, or are we still kind of getting out of the fight and David's still recovering? Where are we at with moving forward?
Yeah, well, David's back in Russia now. I think he started training again this week, back doing his running, his strength conditioning, his swimming. He'll probably start punching next week. But I know there's been talks with Yulusinov. I've been speaking to Neil, obviously David's manager. He's in talks with Matchroom, Frank Smith and Eddie Earn, and there is talk of that fight. There's still a few things to sort out, but it is quite a possibility that's going to happen. We'll have to just wait and see in the next week or so what comes of it. But yeah, speaking to Neil, I know there's been talk of that fight. So we'll just have to see. I mean, what a fight that is. I mean, Yulusinov's beat Kelly as well. He's a former Olympian, southpaw, sharp, counter puncher. So it's another tricky fight, another difficult fight. But we're at that level now. There's going to be no easy fights. I mean, Yulusinov's a good fight for us as much as he'll think it's a good fight for him, because, I mean, David's a good name now and he's been showcased well, especially in Britain. And Yulusinov's a massive name of winning the Olympics. So it's a great fight. But it'd be nice if we can do it for a world title eliminator. I mean, even a final eliminator would be great. I mean, I know Yulusinov won the IBF International Intercontinental last time out with a great win. So yeah, let's see if we can get it for something worthwhile, because it's not worth fighting if it's not for something worthwhile, in my opinion.
Well, that's what I was going to get onto. And with all due respect to Daniil Yulusinov, he's a great fighter. He's undefeated and he's got that amateur pedigree. But to your casual boxing fan, the kind of fans that would have tuned in maybe for the bad blood between Josh Kelly and David Avanesyan, they might not know Yulusinov as well. And you think with the platform that David Avanesyan's built for himself with this victory, is there a worry that the risk versus reward for fighting somebody like Yulusinov, is there a worry that the risk versus reward is not there with that fight maybe?
Yeah, possibly, but whoever David fights now is going to be a tricky fight. It's going to be an hard fight. I mean, it's an hard fight either way, isn't it? David's world class. Yulusinov's a world class amateur. He's not quite proven as a world class professional yet, but he's going to be up there. I mean, he's a great fighter. I've been watching him quite a lot these last few days because he's been mentioned. But I think whoever David fights next is going to be a tough job. But he's a match for anybody on his day. He's proved he's a different fighter from the days of Peterson and Kavalauskas. I mean, he's won his last 4 fights, all by stoppage, not been past 9 rounds in that process. So, yeah, I mean, we're confident where we get put in with at world level now. I mean, I really do believe that David's a match for anybody on his day at world level.
Absolutely. So we look forward to the next move for David Avanesyan moving forward. Now, just touch on a couple of other subjects, Carl, while I've got you here today. Unfortunately, this past weekend, we lost one of the true icons of boxing, you know, one of the most recognisable boxers of all time and the king of the middleweight division for the majority of the 80s in marvellous Marvin Hagler. You know, it was a sad time. And, you know, just in your words, how special a fighter was Marvin Hagler?
Oh, it was fantastic. I used to love watching him back when I was a kid. I can remember going to meet him in 1996 at the Derby Pennine Hotel. The manager at the time, John Ashton, brought him over, and it was great to get a picture with him and obviously a signature and obviously shake his hand. I mean, what a legend, what a fighter. I mean, his fight with Thomas Hitman Hearns, the 3-round war. I mean, it's going to be spoke about for years to come. And obviously, I put it out on me Facebook the other day saying, look, to all you young fighters out there who don't really know Marvin Hagler, have a look at this fight, and that's what you call fighting. That's proper warriors giving it everything they've got, you know what I mean? But yeah, he's a legend of a man, and so sad. I mean, what was he, 66 years old, no age? Yeah, I'm gutted really, because he was an absolute legend of the sport. But we've got him in the memories. We can look back on him and just show the young generation what sort of a fighter was. I mean, he was a right-handed southpaw as well. Good fighter. I mean, I'm a left-handed orthodox. So yeah, he's a fantastic fighter, legend.
Really well said, Carl. It looks like we're finally on the verge of getting an official announcement for Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. This contracts are signed, but we're just waiting on the venue. Are we able to get excited just yet, Carl? Or are you waiting for that fight post or that venue, that date?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the venue and the date. And listen, that sort of level of a fight. I mean, you know, when I've gone through what I have with Josh Kelly and David, I mean, obviously with Josh Kelly pulling out on the day, it always makes you wonder, you know what I mean? And even with that last fight, I was still not confident it was going to go on until I was actually in the ring. And obviously, it's been on and off with the Joshua and Fury fight, and it's been going on for a long time now. And now they're saying that contracts are signed. So let's get the date and venue announced, and then we're getting closer. But until we actually see him in the ring, I'll believe, you know what I mean? I'm still not 100% confident, but I'd love to see him. What a fight. I mean, it's an unbelievable, biggest fight ever with British boxers, I think, and the biggest fight in the world at the moment. Two great fighters, a bit of a clash of styles. I mean, Joshua's changed his style a little bit from the way out boxed Ruiz. He got on his toes and boxed, tried to do a bit of a Fury type fighter, you know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of game plan he brings into the Fury fight. But we all know how good Tyson is on his day. Great boxer, good angles, good movement, got the speed of a middleweight, you know what I mean? But I do believe that Joshua's got the actual one-punch knockout power. But Fury hits hard and regular. And it's an interesting one. I'm a little bit torn, but at the moment, I'm going with Fury.
Brave pick. That's against my pick. I go Anthony Joshua, and I'm taking a lot of stick for that. But one thing I want to ask, Carl, and obviously as a trainer yourself, with Tyson Fury, we know we had that break before coming back and fighting Wilder. He had a couple of comeback opponents. But if the fight's made for June or July, like we're expected, that's going to be a break of around 18 months there or thereabouts. Do you think that's going to affect him going into this fight?
Could possibly, yeah, because obviously Joshua had that run out against Pulev, didn't he? Not run out, but a big fight against Pulev behind closed doors. And unfortunately, Fury hasn't boxed for a long time now, so it could affect him. We all know he don't live the life outside the ring. I mean, I know he looked in great shape when I seen him on IFL the other day on that fight when he went to watch his cousin Isaac, or his friend Isaac. So, yeah, he looked in good nick. He looks like he's been training. I'm hearing he's always in training and he's in the gym, but then he's putting out pictures and that, drinking the old whiskey and the beer and that. So listen, he's great for mind games in his Fury. He gets you thinking. You don't know what sort of Fury's going to turn up. So it's great at giving the mind games and getting people thinking otherwise, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Finally, just to touch on Carl, and we spoke about it briefly last time we spoke in the build-up to Avanesyan against Kelly, but we now have the date when we're coming out of lockdown, or hopefully we come out of lockdown, June 21st. I'm sure you're chomping at the bit to get back into promoting small hall shows.
Absolutely, yeah, I can't wait. I've got loads and loads of fires. It's dying to get out. They haven't been able to box behind closed doors because obviously I don't want them to box. My prospects and building up good ticket sellers who I believe that can get somewhere if brought along correctly. So yeah, I can't wait to start promoting again. Like I've said before, the only way I'm going to be able to promote as soon as the board stop the testing and the bubble, then I'm ready to go. But until then, I can't really give a date or say when I'll be promoting. It's all down to that email I'm going to get off the board to say that look, testing stopped. You can carry on as normal, and then I'll be ready to go. But until then, we can't. I think the testing and the bubble will start when everyone's had the vaccination, in my opinion, because then we know it's more safe then. So I've got September in my head. Anything before that is a bonus. So we'll see.
Exciting times. We look forward to it, Carl. It's always a pleasure catching up. Thanks for your time today.
Luke, you're a top man. Thank you, mate.
Cheers, man. Take care.